thing. So a UFC fighter said the other day, he was interviewed and asked about Ukraine and the war that's going on right now. And so he had an answer that went pretty viral.
Well, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole Russia and Ukraine situation.
Here's my first thought is I'm not going nowhere to fight none of these wars for these politicians. I'm staying at home, and when the war comes to Arkansas, I will dig my boots in the ground, and I will die for everything I love, and I will not retreat. If this country's invaded and everybody's saying, well, we gotta evacuate, we gotta leave, I will not. I will dig my boots in the Arkansas soil, and I will fight for the people that I love, for the land that I love, and the way of life that I love. But I'm not going overseas to fight. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, brother. I really don't. There's so much stuff, and I don't think nobody knows what's going on fully. There's been so much political corruption in that area. You got Biden and his son making a shit ton of money off of and using our tax dollars to bribe their people. That's treasonous, in my opinion. So you got Hunter Biden and his son using our tax dollars. Hey, if Ukrainian government, if you don't do this, we're taking your tax dollars. He shouldn't be giving our tax dollars to that country anyway. We got veterans out here sleeping on the street, and you're going to give our freaking tax dollars to these Ukrainians and all that. Brother, I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm not going over there and fighting, and God bless anybody that's over there fighting, and I hope that this shit just gets solved. And, man, I don't like war. You know what I mean? I don't want people dying and all that stuff. I don't want to be, but I don't know what's going on. There's so much stuff that I think that's corrupted that we just don't know what's truly going on over there. And I pray all those people are safe.
So Kinzinger decided to criticize this young man, saying, oh my lord, this is America, by the way, I'll fight when the war comes to Arkansas. What? The World War II generation would love to slap him, I'm sure. Way to go, Tucker Carlson. This is a new way to support Putin without being so obvious. Side note to this kid, please just stay here and entertain. Nobody is asking you to fight for your country. There are far braver men and women that will do that, even in Arkansas. What do you mean, even in Arkansas? What does that mean? Like, even in Arkansas, there are brave people willing. I don't know if that's how he meant it to come off, but that sounds like a huge diss to Arkansas, the people of Arkansas. So I think this tweet is gross. And not just for the trashing of Arkansas, in my opinion, but also directed toward this young man. Like, first of all, World War II, there's a lot of people who are willing to go over and fight, but we did sure drag our heels with getting involved in it. And when were we, like, in the war? After we got, attacked at Pearl Harbor, people were revved up and ready to go. And people were revved up and ready to go after 9/11. A lot of people signed up, even people who were, like, there's one, like, athlete, I think it was a football player who signed up, and a lot of people went to war after 9/11. They're willing to go and fight for their nation, and I got quite a few friends who served in these long wars that have been going on for, Afghanistan went on for 20 years. I think there's people who were in, maybe even that generation who'd be that old, that do question what's going on in the state of the world today. But he has a valid point. There's a lot of people who don't know what's going on. So I was talking to my sister about someone's video that was, like, going through some propaganda or stuff that we've heard. And so I mentioned, like, yeah, that Ghost of Kiev? And so my sister's like, yeah, I heard that he was and she goes into a whole origin story. Like, I heard that he was, like, a factory worker or something, and then he saw what was happening, and he left his job, and he went to the military, and they're like, oh, well, we know who you are, and then he just got in the plane, and then shot him down. And she's, like, describing, like, a comic book movie, like the Red with, like, Bruce Willis movie or something like that, when someone comes out of retirement, just comes and saves the day. And I'm like, I didn't hear all that origin story. Like, how can people come up with such huge origin stories for something that's not? So I would encourage everyone to just be a little careful about this stuff that you're consuming, and don't get so caught up with your emotions that, I don't know, that you go out and you have a viral video of you ranting and raving, or that you continue spreading the misinformation. But that Ghost of Kiev story, it was like, that's a wild thing. But him trashing this fighter, because he says he's willing to die for his land. So someone mentioned, I don't know if it was Mike Cernovich or maybe it was Jack Posebek, somebody mentioned that one reason that you may not have a lot of people even joining the military now is because you'll weed out people like him that are like, I'm disgusted with the system and I don't want to lay my life down for something I don't understand, for politicians I don't feel who care about me, who don't have my best interests of heart, and who would send me somewhere to die for an unjust war. So if people don't believe in the mission, they're not going to run up and sign up for it. So this isn't just a him not knowing things about Ukraine. He's disillusioned about a lot of people in charge right now. And he went on to talk about Hunter Biden and bribes and all the other kind of stuff that, I mean, there's video of, there's questions. People knew about buying Hunter's laptop and everyone saw how they suppressed that. There was polling that came afterwards and people were like, oh, if I knew about that, yeah, that probably would have changed my vote. Yeah, that's why they suppressed it and lied about it. They didn't even, like, actually deny it a lot. Like, they were like, no, that contents of it are fake. Like, so be like, so you're kind of acknowledging it's true, but at the same time you're trying to say that it's disinformation? They tried to play a game that smart people should have been able to see through. But sometimes people hear with their feelings instead of their ears. And that's what we got out of the election. Someone said Adam is a bad person. This is a bad thing to say about someone, I think. Especially this side note to this kid. Please just stay here and entertain. Nobody is asking you to fight for your country. There are far braver men and women that will do that, even in Arkansas. What does that mean, even in Arkansas? I know I already said that, but it seems so derogatory. we have a major distrust right now, and someone has to inspire people again. And people go back and are upset about Bush and the years that we were in war and stuff. But after 9/11, people were like willing and motivated to sign up to go. And when Bush wanted to go to war, I think at first when they had to vote, everybody wasn't kind of for it. So Bush went around like campaigning for it. And he made his case, and people believed in the mission he was pushing out. And a lot of people got on board. Now, people at the mission obviously changed from we're going to go do this to, we got a nation build. And people got frustrated with that over time, for sure. So did he kind of convey maybe the need for why it needed to morph like that? Not as well as obviously when people went out there originally for the mission. But first there were like a few wars and expanded to like 5 under Obama. And a lot of people, and how many times did they have different votes on like actually declaring war? So people don't want to, at the drop of the hat, to just go fight for something they don't believe in. So I understand where he's coming from. I'm not trying to say that he's right or he's wrong, but that is how he feels. And as someone who's an elected official, they need to understand that this kid isn't so much the problem. What's driving him to feel this way is the problem. And they need to figure out how to fix that in a lot of young men and women. Saying he's not brave, he literally punches other people in the face for a living. And he doesn't expect to die when he goes in the ring. So, I mean, it is a different sort of, courage. But he's saying he'll lay his life down on the line. There's people who don't want to do that. There was a Quinnipiac poll. I was trying to find it. They polled people like, if the U.S. was in the same position as Ukraine, how many people would stay and fight? The most striking thing was the big drop off in like the age groups, and maybe like 18 to 24 something was like the smallest percent of people who would be willing to stay and fight for their own land here. Like the highest number were like boomers. The boomers are ready to die to protect, the U.S. But at least he's willing to stay and fight for the people he knows, people he loves, and his country. He's not saying he's not willing to fight for his country. He's saying he doesn't know what's going on the other side of the world. And no, he says, I don't think anyone really does. And he doesn't want to go to war for that. And maybe he wasn't, he says, I don't like war. So I think ultimately he would rather not have to be drafted into a situation or pressured into a situation. And I don't think it's right for Kinzinger to berate him in such a way. I think he's part of the problem, and they got to figure out how they're going to fix that. Because a lot of people don't have a lot of faith in our institutions. And there's a lot of reasons not to. I believe in America. I believe in the American dream. I believe in our Constitution. I believe in our rights. And I support people who believe in the Constitution and protecting our rights and respect Judeo-Christian values. But there's a lot of people out there who are in levers of power who are willing to destroy those sorts of things to gain more power. So I can understand people being disillusioned. I don't want them to be. And I would like to change that. But guys like Kinzinger are the ones who have to make that difference. Someone said, please make fun of Adam more. I gotta move on, guys. I talked about it for a good, 15 minutes, I think. It was a trash thing to say. It was a trash thing to say. It was, but I'm gonna let it go for now. I'm gonna let it go for now. Maybe there's more we can do later in another segment.